Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Squawk About It, the web series brought to you by the Poultry Science Association, where we discuss the latest science, technology, and impacts within the poultry science community. Today, our guest is Liz Doughman with Watt Global Media. Liz, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and what your role is at Watt?
Yeah, so I'm Liz Doughman, and I'm the managing editor of Poultry Future. And what I cover in Poultry Future is the intersection of new technologies and consumer trends in the poultry industry. So I always like to brag that I get to write about all sorts of fun stuff, everything from the chicken sandwich wars to sustainability to gene editing and robots. So it's never boring, always interesting, and I'm always interested in what's next for the poultry industry.
You guys cover a lot of interesting stuff that PSA is happy to share on our social media outlets and in our newsletter, that kind of stuff too. So thank you for joining us. And what you mentioned segues perfectly into what we're talking about today. It's in regards to an article that you had written. This technology innovation was presented at the 2018 Poultry Tech Summit, if I understand correctly, and is now being used to help ensure poultry welfare and safety when transporting. So can you give me an overview of this technology and what it is being used to monitor?
Yeah, so these sensors were developed by a company called Transport Genie, and what it does is it records fluctuations in temperature, humidity, vibration, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and other sort of microclimate conditions that live poultry experience during the transportation process. Obviously, these fluctuations can be very stressful to poultry and it impacts their welfare, but it also can result in lower quality products, higher mortality, and lower revenue for the producer.
In what ways does this technology respond aside from alerting key stakeholders such as the driver and others involved in the poultry supply chain?
Yeah, well, so if a threshold in these microclimate fluctuations is exceeded, one of the great big benefits is that an alert is sent directly to the driver and other stakeholders. This data is all stored via the blockchain, so it can be accessed anywhere in the world. This also helps increase transparency and traceability throughout the supply chain.
It also seems to serve as a good fallback on if issues or complications do arise. We can pinpoint what those issues were. It also adds for documentation for problems. At the end of the year, if something goes wrong, we like to know what went wrong and what impacted the bottom line and how. So I think this is a pretty advantageous technology for producers to have. So when we talk about this technology, there's obviously a benefit to poultry welfare here, but there also seems to be a benefit to the environment. So in what ways has this technology advanced so that it can also be cognizant of environmental impacts?
Absolutely. Sustainability is such an important issue for the poultry industry. So the sensor that is used to, record fluctuations in microclimate conditions, it's designed to be repaired as opposed to just discarded at the end of its use. The company Transport Genie has also partnered with a tree planting company, which can help producers offset their carbon footprint.
So not only are they benefiting the environment by making something that can be repaired and not just discarded, but they're also impacting the environment by, you said, planting trees.
Mhm.
Fantastic. It's good to see companies doing that type of thing to enhance their green footprint. So, when we talk about this technology, it's obviously extremely beneficial to poultry welfare. And this technology, in particular, that we're talking about, has been applied to the poultry transport chain. But Watt recently published an article, I think earlier this week, about technologies similar to this being applied to poultry housing units.
Definitely, it's taking advantage of new digital technologies, as well as automation. Anything that new technologies can do to automate the process and find new ways to free up farmers for other things.
Mhm.
It's a big benefit to producers nowadays. The robotic technology uses camera technology to watch and record and look for things such as increased mortality. It looks for sick birds or other welfare indicators. So definitely new technologies are looking for new ways to improve poultry welfare. And it's really exciting.
And I like what you mentioned about how it frees up poultry farmers' time to focus on other things. We obviously know that labor shortages are a big issue in the poultry supply chain. And this is one of those things that can help alleviate some of those struggles.
Absolutely. One of the concerns about automation is that it's going to replace workers in the poultry industry. From my viewpoint, it's not going to replace workers, it's just going to augment their jobs. So, with automation, I think poultry workers are going to have new jobs, but it's also going to free them up to be able to concentrate on other things and not have to spend all day in the poultry houses.
There was initially concern that this is going to replace labor, but like you had said earlier, with this technology being repairable, I mean, obviously that opens up a new avenue for job opportunities. This type of technology needs to be repaired, needs to be maintained. So jobs aren't going away, just new jobs are being created, new opportunities for folks.
Absolutely.
Well, Liz, before we sign off here, are there any opportunities with Watt that you would like to plug or invite our viewers to consider?
Yeah, I'm excited to announce that we're going to be opening up the call for presentations for our annual Poultry Tech Summit in mid-March. So I'd like to encourage people to keep an eye out for that if they're working on something, new or novel that they think could transform the future of the poultry industry. If you're not familiar with the Poultry Tech Summit, it's a one-of-a-kind event that connects researchers and entrepreneurs with poultry sector technology experts, financiers, venture capitalists, and producers that are looking for new projects and investments to fund or partner with.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to connect and see new innovations in the poultry sector. So thanks for that. And Liz, you said, just to reiterate, the call for proposals will be in March, and then the
Yep,
tech summit will be next November, correct?
that's correct. We're going to be back in Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to be at the Hilton right by the Atlanta airport. It's going to be November 6th through 8th.
Everyone, keep that on your radar. If you're interested in submitting proposals to be considered at the Poultry Tech Summit, be on the lookout for those emails and those calls.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam.